Good morning, Gabriel.
Good morning.
So we are ahead actually. We will wait for another 9 more minutes to start.
Yes, yes.
Good afternoon, Mohan.
Hi, good afternoon, Karthik. Good afternoon, Madhuri ma'am. Good
Yeah,
afternoon.
hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Good afternoon, everybody. Just wanted to check in to make sure everything's working.
Where are you, Narendra Parmarji? You are in UK or in India? Good
No,
morning
I'm
or
back.
good afternoon?
Good morning for me. Good afternoon.
Good morning for you. Yeah. Okay.
That's good. I thought I'd just quickly double check before I make some phone calls to the office, and I'll come
Please,
back.
please. Maybe we'll start in another 8 minutes. Yeah.
Okay, no problem. I will be back in time.
Sure.
Bye-bye.
So there were around 130 registered participants, and we have to see how many are going to attend today.
Okay. Good to know that.
1 more minute to go.
Yeah, I'm just I'm messaging Dr. Siddharth.
Okay, okay. But anyway, we have Sudarshanji here.
Yes,
Yeah, Siddharth joined, yeah.
he joined. Oh, okay.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, great.
So, shall we go ahead, Madhuriji?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
we should.
Good afternoon to all our participants in India, and good morning to our audience from Germany and other parts of the world. Welcome everybody to Training Made in Germany and to our online event, BET on the Move webinar series. Today's topic, National Education Policy 2020, the game changer for Indo-German collaboration in vocational education and training. I am Arunachalam Karthikeyan, head of iMOVE representation in India, and I'm also happy that you are all with us today to explore emerging fields of cooperation between vocational training institutions from Germany and India in the context of the new Education Policy 2020. Our organization iMOVE is the networking platform for German training institutions and companies which offer vocational education and further training for their international partners. iMOVE was established by the German Federal Ministry of Education and Research exactly before 23 years and is part of the Federal Institute of Vocational Education and Training, BIBB. Over 200 German VET institutions are empaneled with iMOVE in Germany. iMOVE has been supporting the various initiatives of German Federal Ministry of Education and Research, BMBF, and its project implementing agency, DLRPT. iMOVE India has been working closely with both private and public sector institutions, specifically vocational education training institutions, for over 2 decades and facilitated several capacity development projects for the Indian institutions. iMOVE India continues to work in close cooperation with other eminent German institutions like Consulate General of the Federal Republic of Germany, Indo-German Chamber of Commerce, German International Cooperation GIZ, and several German industries in India to facilitate vocational education training requirements for the country. Time to time, on invitation, we collaborate closely with Ministry of Skill Development Entrepreneurship, Government of India, and their various departments like Directorate General of Training, Central Staff Training Research Institute, CSTRA, National Instructional Media Institute, NIMI, National Skill Development Corporation, NSDC, and National Skill Development Corporation International, and few of the Sector Skill Council and several state-level skill development missions across 28 states and 8 union territories in India. iMOVE India has developed a strong network with apex Indian industry associations like CII, FICCI, ASOCHEM, PHDCCI, Alliance of Indian MSMEs, Skill for Progress, SKIP, and 100 other central and state level chambers of commerce and industry in India supporting their vocational education and training initiatives. Over the years, the VET on the Move virtual events have served as a platform for introducing German vocational institutions and partners to showcase their services offers in several sectors, including healthcare, hospitality, e-mobility, renewable energy, energy efficient construction technologies, and so on. In this current edition of the VET on the Move series, we have partnered with National Skills Network, NSN, to conduct research on the National Education Policy 2020 and opportunities for VET collaborations across institutions in India. Being one of the popular skill networks in our country, NSN has contributed substantially to create awareness and educate vocational education institutions and the subscribers on the latest developments in the field of skill development in India. Ms. Madhuri Dubey, founder NSN, will present her basic research briefly after my address. As we all agree, change is the only constant. In this direction, so far we have asked the German institutions to come and offer their services to the Indian partners. In this edition, we will now learn from the dignitaries from the Indian VET institutions and influencers like you all to inform the German training providers what are the emerging opportunities for cooperation in the current and future skill needs. So today, I request all of you to actively participate, interact, and give your valuable insights into what are the emerging fields of cooperation we in India can expect from the German vocational education and training industry in order to achieve India's skill requirements as well as to supply skilled workforce internationally. And I would now like to hand it over to Ms. Madhuri Dubey, who is going to host today's event and to introduce you to our eminent speakers and panelists. Ms. Madhuri, over to you.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Karthik, and good afternoon and good morning to all the participants. We are very grateful to all of you for attending this, and thank you so much for supporting this event. So I would like to give you a gist of a few important points from the research we conducted on National Education Policy 2020 to follow up with the points which Mr. Karthik made just now, and the scope for collaboration between Germany and India. And after this, I will introduce you to the panelists. So as most of us are aware in India, this is a very path-breaking kind of a policy, which is setting a new trend for education in India, where in the history of the country, for the first time, we are strongly trying to connect education with employment. And that is where between education and employment, we have the role for work-integrated learning or training or skill-based education or TVET or vocational education. So that's the reason this policy becomes absolutely critical for us to look into and the opportunities it is creating. And this we feel is going to be a game changer in the coming years because it is kind of taking the whole historical context of education in India and also the socio-economic requirements of the country as we are progressing and becoming, a very big name to reckon with in the global economic development as well. So some of the areas where the National Education Policy 2020 is actually going to be as a catalyst or going to catalyze strategic and sustainable partnerships between India and Germany could be areas like these. I'm just going to mention few critical areas. One important area from the policy is again, for the first time, we are talking about mainstreaming vocational education in India by integrating skills in schools and colleges and promoting apprenticeships, where we have the global leader, Germany, with us, and we look forward to getting your advice, support, and scope for collaborations and, to strengthen this entire emerging paradigm. And again, for the first time, we are restructuring undergraduate and postgraduate programs where we can incorporate flexible formats like degree apprenticeships or flexible degree programs. We have experts from skill universities in our sessions, so you will get to hear from them. And also we are trying to see how pathways can be created from technical training to further education. So this is one of the key areas. Then another area is how do we revamp curriculum and pedagogy and meet the industry demands? A country like Germany has shown the world how industry participation can radically transform vocational education. And we have a lot to learn and adopt and adapt from these models. So this is another area where we look at being internationally compatible, meeting the global standards and matching our frameworks with international standards. And this brings to another area where we also have the possibility of creating international branch campuses in India, where global universities, which are ranked by India, say top 10, top 100 or 200 universities from the world, have the opportunities to set up global campuses in India. And we also have new opportunities coming up in the form of exchange programs, where probably fellowships, funding, etc. also might be one of the opportunities. And another area which I would like to mention strongly here is focusing on green technology, Industry 4.0, and AI-enabled industry solutions. This is one area which came very strongly from our research, where we seek a lot of cooperation, because India also is making a lot of effort, putting in a lot of effort through platforms like Skill India Digital, which is also known as SIDH platform. And there are many other initiatives where you can see there is a huge push for creating skilling programs in this, because we foresee a lot of employment in these areas. Along with this, we would also like to see what are the opportunities where Indian talent can contribute to German economy and take up job roles in Germany. So with this, I would like to conclude the summary of the research that we did. And I would like to go ahead and introduce the speakers very briefly. We have with us Mr. Mohan Iyer, who is the business head and general manager at Christiani Sharpline Technical Training. And he's been there for almost, I think, 28 years now, a very senior person with Christiani Sharpline, and also bringing all the German expertise in India, and actually doing things at the ground level. So we have a lot to learn from him, because he's handled this, with people, with the stakeholders and the change makers in India. So welcome to this webinar, Mr. Mohan. And another common factor between all the speakers today is they're all qualified engineers and have had a amazing track record of contributing to skills and education, almost averaging like 25 to 30 years, I would say. So he's also an engineer, and I have been into a lot of technology like Industry 4.0, robotics, mobility, and many other aspects of technology. And then we have Mr. B.V. Sudarshan, who's the managing director and board member at NTTF, EduTech NTTF. And NTTF, as we all know, is one of the oldest and pioneering institution in India in terms of technical training, has made a difference in the life of several hundreds of youth in India. And most of the students from NTTF have themselves become role models. So Mr. Sudarshan has played a very key role in building NDTF over the years, and also he has contributed to set up partnerships with other countries like in Europe and other countries, Germany, USA, and many other countries. And he's again spearheading many initiatives in NTTF. So I think we will be really benefited with the interaction we are going to have with him today. So welcome to this webinar, sir. Then we have Dr. Siddharth Chaturvedi from ISECT and Scope Global Skills University. We all know Dr. Siddharth Chaturvedi as the director of ISECT Group, a huge group representing the Central India. Another interesting feature is we have good representation from India. Dr. Siddharth representing Central India, and Mr. Sudarshan from the southern part of India, and Mr. Mohan from the western part. But then, the impact they are creating is across the country. So that's the huge impact. And Dr. Siddharth Chaturvedi is also the Chancellor for India's first skill university in the central region, known as Scope Global Skill University. We all know it as popularly as SGSU, which is located in Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh. And Dr. Siddharth has been contributing through ISECT for several skilling initiatives, partnering many government programs, setting up, state-of-the-art skilling centers. And the impact of ISECT is not just for skilling, but it has widened into many other related aspects of skilling, which go into employment, teacher development, and many other aspects. So that way, I think we have a very good panel of speakers. So I would like to get started. Mr. Karthik, can we get started with our discussion?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, so let me get started by asking Mr. Sudarshan. So Sudarshan sir, could you please share your views on the need for high quality technical training in India, especially when we are talking about international collaborations? And what are the opportunities that are evolving in the context of partnerships that we are exploring with countries like Germany, let's say through skill-based training, technical training, apprenticeships, or even scope for employment?
Thank you, Madhuri. First of all, guten Morgen for the Leute aus Deutschland. Uh, so first of all, starting on time at 1:30 is a great beginning for this webinar. I think most of our German people will like the Punktlich start. So good job, Madhuri, on that front. I think Madhuri has spoken about NTTF. So NTTF started in 1959 with the Switzerland government and also some of the German people involved in starting our institute way back in 1959. So we started with 20,000 students. Now we have about 20,000 students across India undergoing TVET education. So I'm not going to dwell too much onto that. Maybe you can visit our website for more details. But coming to the context of Madhuri, what she is telling, you all know that India has a very big demographic advantage, and Germany is, compared to Germany is having an average age of 48 plus and also struggling with the skilled labor shortage. Whereas on the contrary, India has a enormous population of youth. And every year, if we have to satisfy our youth, 70 lakh means 7 million to 8 million jobs has to be created every year for the Indian youth coming out of the education system, which is a huge demand. Okay. And also, our Prime Minister has made just a big announcement day before yesterday in US that India will also address the global skill gap. So the amount of skill awareness and the skilling education we are seeing over last 5 years has been very, very encouraging, which is not only going to satisfy Indian demand, but also we can support the global skill shortage. Okay, that is the stage we are in. And coming to for the German thing, for a quite long time, I think all of my German colleagues will agree, Germany has been conservative in attracting the foreign talents because of various reasons. But last couple of years, it has been more open. And we have seen in various modes and policy relaxation and so many things. And Germany is coming forward to attract the foreign talents. And we are in discussion with various institutes and organizations on addressing how we can match the skill gap. So just a German member was projecting about every year they need about 300,000 to 400,000 skilled labor for next 10 years. So which is going to be a huge task both for Germany and also for other countries to fulfill this task. Main challenge is being the German language. So that is also very essential. So that's why I'm promoting wherever I address people. So to learn a skill and also to learn a language along with it. Any European language will add to that. But especially if you're aspiring for German language would help the students to get an easy entry into the Germany. So we are also promoting that in our institute as well in a big way. So as you know, this Germany has opened up. So visa formalities have been quite simple. Anybody can go with the opportunity visa today if he has a required skill and the language. So they can land and search for the job in Germany up to 1 year. They can also do the part-time job up to 1 year and then go for it. So all these things puts us in a real focus whether we can train people to the German standard. Because we always know from the beginning, I come from the manufacturing industry. I lived in Germany for 5 years. The German standard is very high in terms of quality, in terms of process, everything. So can we leverage up to that level? Whether it is possible? Yes, it is possible in today's context where everything has become transparent technology, information, everything is available. Only thing, the willingness to train and the other side, willingness to learn. If these two things are matched, we can make a big difference in training people to Germany. So we are, from the NTTF side, we have like in Germany, the apprenticeship Azubis program. So we have entered into an agreement with one of the German companies, and we have our students, after completing our courses, will also join the apprenticeship course in Germany. They are currently undergoing the German course in various technical skills. It could be an electrician, it could be an auto mechanic. So this is opening up a wide door of opportunities for Indian youth going forward. Having said that, Madhuri, you said how we can collaborate with the German vocational institutes in India, what we can do. So we know that in budget, there has been a lot of focus given on the ITI upgradation in India. About 1,000 ITIs will have to be get upgraded. So it is a good opportunity for the German TVET vocational education providers to have a look at it, because we need one is the syllabus and the curriculum comparison, and the other infrastructure, and also the training of trainers. So all these things have to be upgraded in the ITI mechanism, because ITI, Industrial Training Institutes in India, has been the backbone for the skill for a long time. It has been not in the focus for long years, but now the government has made it a lot of focus and attention, and they have allocated a huge amount of money funding for this project. So where the vocational training providers from Germany can look at it and can collaborate with various government agencies and also training providers like us to upgrade to the German standard level, all in terms of syllabus. Because I don't want to, we have been working with some other German companies where we are comparing the syllabus. There are a lot of gaps in the technology and the way we teach. So it needs to be upgraded to that level so that we come to the same level of education, both in terms of India and Germany. So that provides a good opportunity for German vocational training providers and other institutes to collaborate in India and to make use of the opportunity available here, and also make use of the youth and the demographic dividend available in India. Right? I will pause for now, then I will come back later for anything.
Yeah. Thank you, Sudarshan sir, for sharing your views and also emphasizing on the ITI aspect of it, where you also refer to the budget. This is, I think, one of the items it's top on the agenda for the Indian government as well. So I would like to now request Dr. Siddharth to give us a very different perspective. What we heard from Mr. Sudarshan right now was from the technical training. Now, Dr. Siddharth can give us his insights from skill universities, he being a chancellor of one of the big skill universities, how this concept of skill universities is encouraging international partnerships and why we need them, and what are the kind of models that can be adapted for these skill universities. And also perhaps, Dr. Siddharth, you can refer to maybe a few insights from NEP 2020 as well, because the concept of skill university is still quite new in India. This can perhaps be mapped with applied learning universities in other countries, right?
Right.
So let's get started.
Right. Thank you. Thank you, Madhuri, for getting all of us together. And guten Morgen and good afternoon to all the panelists and attendees. A quick word about our group. Our group is ISECT, and we are one of India's leading social enterprises working in the areas of skills, higher education, online learning, content development, and apart from that, a couple of other banking and financial inclusion services in rural areas. Essentially, our spread covers predominantly rural areas across all the states, pretty much all the states. And at the level of the organization, at the group level, we work with all the clients and customer segments. First one is government sponsored or funded programs. Second is a pool of industry partners and industry funded or industry sponsored programs. And third is CSR funded or CSR sponsored programs. We've also established last year Central India's first skills university, which is the Scope Global Skills University. And we are trying to create a difference using the tools of the new education policy and the National Curriculum Framework, the two important tools which are reshaping the education and skills ecosystem of the country today. So I will, divide my comments into three parts. One is how and why Skills University. Second, the tools available from NEP. And third, some of the opportunities which we see for collaboration, probably from my vantage point, which I can look at. So first of all, skills universities are relatively new phenomena in India. As Madhuri said, you can link you can probably take them to be similar to applied universities in Germany. I have had the privilege to visit Germany a couple of times on CII delegations, on Government of Madhya Pradesh delegation, and see directly the model of dual education, the VET model, and the integration of the apprenticeship and internships in the formal education. So Skills University, first thing, the overall curriculum can extend up to 70% hands-on or skills or practical oriented content as compared to traditional universities. Having said that, right now the difference also is more of the mindset with which the skills universities are supposed to work, in terms of integrating with local industry clusters, integrating with national industry organizations, and working hand in hand for promoting internships and apprenticeships through the skills universities. The second thing is that the skills universities also should, and what we are trying to do at our campus is to have as close to real life as possible production or commercialization linked departments at the university itself. So if there is a department of automotive, if there is a department of carpentry, if there is a department for future skills, they are also supposed to have real life working environment by way of either centers of excellence or by way of working very closely with the industry to have a hands-on training experience for its students. Third, skills universities are supposed to promote work integrated learning programs in the longer format and solve the problem of aspirations which is around the vocational training and skills in the country. So once the student is enrolled in a long-term format skilling program, the qualification becomes equivalent to a formal education qualification, and the issue of aspiration or the skills or vocational qualifications being a little inferior to formal education gets resolved. There is another very important aspect of skills universities, and we are also trying to do that at our campus, is to contribute heavily towards research and analysis of skills mismatch or skill gap studies, or identifying the right kind of data around which the policies and training and skilling programs should be evaluated. So, one of the big challenges for a country like us is also to have one source of data around which skilling policies or demand estimates can be created, and around which skilling programs which can be established. So, all in all, skills universities are supposed to be a newer kind of institutions working hand in hand with industry and embedding as close to possible the real life working environment within the curriculum. Coming to new education policy, the tools which are available to activate whatever I have mentioned. One is that we have, under the NEP, taken the goal of exposing minimum 50% of learners enrolled in formal education to skills and vocational training by the year 2030. And that's going to be a huge number. And in terms of resources, in terms of collaborations, in terms of all the connections which we can pull in, this is going to be a steep challenge. But 50% of learners enrolled in HEIs in formal education to be exposed to vocational training. Second, now we have the availability and the guiding framework from NEP and the National Curriculum Framework to launch skills embedded degree programs or apprenticeship embedded degree programs, the AEDPs, which we have been looking at and we have been learning from Germany, now are available and are a relatively newer set of programs being launched by skills universities. So AEDPs or internship embedded or skills embedded degree programs are a new breed of programs which we can launch. The third thing NEP also emphasizes is that all the institutions are supposed to work very closely with the local value chains and the local industry clusters and be cognizant of the heritage, art, craft and skills of the country and try and include that as apprenticeship by way of creditizing some of those learnings and embedding them in the curriculum. So designing a curriculum has now become quite a creative and innovative aspect of any private or autonomous university, where a lot of value and learnings can be imbibed from a collaborating partner or any other institution. And finally, I think with all this, the NEP talks at multiple times about the industry academia collaboration. With the skills university background and the NEP background, some of the areas which I can think of for collaboration, one, of course, is anything to do around improving the apprenticeship system, apprenticeship delivery, apprenticeship curriculum, apprenticeship training of trainers in the country. Because wherever I am going to attend any lectures, wherever I'm involved in a discussion, apprenticeship is the first and foremost thing which is being talked about at multiple forums as the right tool for solving the employability and the skills shortage challenge of country. So we need to learn a lot in terms of devising the right kind of curriculum for apprenticeship programs and also capacity building around apprenticeship. Second, I would say is, as Madhuri pointed out, having centers of excellence in emerging areas of EV, green economy, future skills, automotive, and so on. And we must target world skills as the benchmark when we are setting up centers of excellence and training some of the students at the world skills standard with these centers of excellence. Again, I mean, I was there at the World Skills. India is right now gearing up, and there is a lot of awareness and there is a lot of hunger amongst various states to establish good infrastructure to train students for world skills. And as a skills university and many other institutions are looking at establishing good centers of excellence. Another one which Mr. Sudarshan also alluded to is transfer programs, where if it's a master's program, 1 year which is done in India, and the second year which is linked to internship, probably funded under the apprenticeship program, the second year of master's program in Germany, coupled with the language training, is also a model which we are looking at. We are right now starting with sending some of our students on the summer school internship, and probably next year we look forward to launching a full 1+1 transfer program. Finally, I think in terms of collaborations, as again Mr. Sudarshan pointed out, capacity building of faculties and trainers and the academic fraternity in both institutions as well as universities is much needed. So any kind of master trainers program or training of trainers program or exposure programs can definitely be looked at. And we can have arrangements to invite a subject matter expert from Germany and offer a 10-day or a 15-day program and do it in different batches across institutions. So at a high level, these are the areas which we can collaborate on. There are some other points, but I'll pause for now and come to those later. Madhuri.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Siddharth, for sharing your insights and also emphasizing on the aspirational value of work integrated or vocational education in India, which we are kind of pushing through NEP 2020, which has its very clear agenda. And also you also brought in the importance of infrastructure, good infrastructure. So I think this is what we can connect the next panelists with. We have Mr. Mohan, who's had huge experience through Christiani Sharpline, and the high quality of equipment which they, supply to various training institutions in India, and the kind of support system they have for this infrastructure. I think this is simply amazing, and I think we should be able to get more insights from him. So, Mr. Mohan, can you tell us what kind of beneficial collaborations you were participating in through Christiani Sharpline over the years, through with Germany and India kind of a collaboration? And, how do you foresee such collaborations coming up in future? What kind of support system is needed? So please share your insights on this from years of experience you've had, at the ground level. You're on mute. Yeah.
So sorry, I didn't realize that. Thank you so much, Madhuri ji, and a very good morning to all the participants from Germany, and a very good afternoon to everyone here in India. Yeah, as Madhuri ji put it across, we are in the form of Indo-German joint venture here in India, and we've been here since 2009, and it's almost now about 13 to 14 years. We are operating in the TVET and skilling and technical education space, providing complete technical learning equipment, the content, the curriculum, and the methodology as per the German way of learning, which, as Mr. Siddharth pointed out, like is the 70% practical and 30% theoretical content. And we have been providing all this to various institutions, and both in the TVET space and also higher education, further education space as well. And it's been a good journey for us so far, like in terms of providing the German way of learning to whoever wants to establish it. For example, the Volkswagen Academy does a complete 3.5-year mechatronica program for which we support, through our various documentations, the learning material, or the question papers, referrals which we can provide. These are the things which they have been using from us. Or for example, also with the GTTI in Coimbatore, they have been purchasing or using the mechatronic examination material, the mechatronic panel material and everything, which is supposed to be done by the participants as part of their practical work. We've been providing all these knowledge resource materials to various institutions across here. And that's what becomes very important in terms of bringing the German TVET skilling arena into the country, in terms of providing the correct material, the correct resource. And we actually act as the knowledge skill partners to any institutions here in India. And in fact, for example, even NTTF has been using our mechatronics kit, which we supplied through Siemens, one of the projects which they have been using it. So likewise, a lot of other areas which we support in the technical skills in the TVET format, right from the basic mechanical fundamentals to advanced CNC technology, electrical, electronics, automation, which also has the latest Industry 4.0, sensorics, and all the other areas. Automotive, basic fundamentals to advanced electric vehicle technology. In fact, Mr. Siddharth also mentioned the need of all these equipments to come in. So plus renewable energy, again on solar technology, HVAC, air conditioning, or in terms of sanitation, plumbing, drinking water, gas piping, bathroom installation type of equipments, wherein these are all learning kits, the trainer kits, which can be provided along with the German learning material, both for the trainee and the trainer. Like, Siddharth also mentioned the need of having good trainers. So we also are into the area of technical trainers, providing complete technical training material which in Germany today, a faculty, as per the German framework for a particular trade which is set up, they sort of just utilize the learning material provided by us and then they deliver their lectures. So it's like we are that embedded into the German system at the moment, like having been there for almost 93 years in the skilling space in Germany. And we are trying to get that same, technology or the learning aspects into the Indian system. And I feel with this new NEP policy having come across, it's also opened up a lot of avenues for us in terms of the versatility which it brings in. Also, like earlier, there was a slight restrictions which we could feel in terms of institutions trying to adopt the content or the curriculum in terms to bring it into their system. But with this new NEP, there has been a little bit of flexibility which the institutes have been also taking up. And we feel that going forward with all the migration and the skills requirement opening up in Germany, this could lead a very good area for the company as such for us in trying to provide quality learning material which could be beneficial to a lot of students here who are looking to also migrate into Germany into various skilling initiatives. So that's a area which we can very well support a lot of institutions, a lot of universities, or even from the ITI level, which can come up like, the project which the government of India has initiated for those 1,000 ITIs. We could be a very good support system in terms of providing the end-to-end solutions for all this. So this is what basically we've been doing in India. And probably I'll take a pause here and then we can go ahead with the other discussions. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Mohan, and thank you for sharing all the experience which you had, in terms of implementing these solutions at the Indian training institutions. I think for all of us, one of the important points here, the key takeaway is the importance of infrastructure. It really has to be world-class global standard infrastructure that also creates aspirational value for training. Right. So I think that's very important for all of us. So let's think more about it. So at this point, we kind of close the first part of the discussion. We will move ahead with the second part of the discussion. But before that, I have one announcement to make. We have the second session of this webinar coming up on 1st October. So I would request all of you to be attending that session as well. In that session, we have panelists. I'll just read out the names. We'll have Mr. Mahendra Payal from NSDC, Mr. Pravesh Dudani from Medhavi Skills University, and Mr. Mohammad Badran from GIZ. So it might be very interesting for you to listen to them and follow up the discussion. So this is coming up on 1st October. And today's webinar, we are also live on our YouTube channel. So we'll share the link here. If you wish to share the link with any of your colleagues, you can do that as well. So Mr. Karthik, would you have any points to share before we move to the second part of this discussion?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you, Madhuri, and thank you, respected speakers. And see, most of the points we covered, maybe for the benefit of the German vocational training providers, can we also throw some light on which are all the emerging or most sought after fields that is in your experience in your institutes across India you are seeing, and which are the fields which is much needed for India as well as for international requirements. If Sudarshanji can give your experience having so many institutes across India, it will be highly beneficial for the German partners.
Yes, yeah. And this would be like a common question for all of you, all three panelists. Areas where we see scope or where we see the urgency for skills training. And also another point could be along with this, how the policies creating a friendly atmosphere, and if there are any challenges in the past, we would like to inform our German prospects and partners. What are the challenges and how did you kind of overcome those challenges? I mean, how positively, you have taken it. So you can add these points as well. So let's get started with Mr. Sudarshan.
Yeah, thank you, Madhuri. So first, I would go with what Karthik has requested. NTTF is from the technical background. What are the requirements we are getting for Germany, especially in the technical field, is like electrician and welders and all manufacturing related activities, which they have a skill gap as of today. So there we are concentrating more on the a little bit, not at the engineering level, mostly at the operations level and the mid supervisory level. So these are, and also mechatronic engineers and automation experts, robotic programmers. So these kind of requirements we are getting as of today. But I also know that from my interaction with the German counterpart, there are huge requirements on healthcare and nurses and bakery. All these requirements are also there. So from the technical perspective, whatever I have mentioned is still valid. But when it comes to what we expect from Germany here, see, on the industry 4.0, there are a lot of advanced things that are happening is there. So their German counterparts can play a major role in establishing kind of center of excellence here in India. We also working closely with the Bosch, and again, a German company. They have devised their own system for Industry 4.0. And further automation taking to and also the smart factory. So from the technical perspective, from other people can add from their perspective, what all the things they are expecting out of this. So that is to answer your question. Madhuri, one of the policy things, what I think we missed out to represent is we have a beautiful national credit framework laid, which is really fantastic. A lot of good work has been done in planning this national credit framework, and which, if implemented in true spirit, will make big wonders for both the foreign institutes and also the youth of India can make a big minutes. They have mapped clearly what all the vocational credits, where all the movements can happen. Academics can come into the vocational can go into pure academics. So it's mix and match. Good flexible model exists today. So which I hope in next few years, all universities will embrace it, and we will see a big change happening. And also National Council for Vocational Education and Training, NCVET, is playing a major role, because I've been interacting with European counterparts, how long it usually takes to get a skill qualification approval. They have to wait for months. But whereas in India is very proactive, if you want a new qualification pack for a specific need to be built in, it will be clear within 2 months. So they are very proactive. They want to support the skill movement in India. So that is the biggest advantage India has today with the bureaucracy and the policy as concerned. Coming to, a lot of people have said the dual education system. So we have fantastic model working. With NTTF, we are working with various customers on dual education. One of the example I want to quote is we are working with Festo in India. So this is a German company. They only take limited numbers, but we have a collaborated industry institute collaboration. They go 3 days there in Festo, and 2 days they come to our class. So it's a fantastic model working, which we could take it up further. And also, I have visited some of the Beruf Building Schule, BBS, in Germany. So we are working with one of the BBS in Mainz, Mainz, where we have kind of a collaboration where our students can go there, their students can come here. We're also launching a kind of a design thinking workshop together with these institutes. So that kind of a cooperation is also possible with the vocational institutes from Germany. It need not be a long term. It could be some specific project. We can have a collaboration, some student exchange program, and also the faculty exchange program. We had faculties from Estonia with us for a month, getting trained in mechatronics and automation here. And they were really happy coming to India and learning the systems. And it is more or less comparable. And in certain parts in India is also making a good progress, because we have a close net of industries like Fanuc and Festo nearby. So we are working closely. So they learned a lot of good things. So that's also one of the good area we can think of faculty and student exchange program. So coming back to the national credit framework, if the vocational schools in Germany come out with a model where they can recognize what the students have studied here and maybe 1 year finishing school in Germany. So we can take it up with the government to give the credit for those 1 year they learn there in Germany and give a diploma or whatever the certification level. That could be a good model, which today we are working with some other countries like it is happening. So it could also open up a lot of opportunities for Indian youth, and also it would help the German institutes as well. So these are all some of the points. And also one more thing where we should think also how we can play a role in the internships, whether we can have a structured internship support, not only from the companies, from the institutes, because NTTF has also developed some internship models for the engineering graduates to have a hands-on experience to do something. Because, you know, Madhuri, India has announced a big budget for internships. They want to train 10 million internship going forward. So this also throws up a good opportunity. The internship could happen in India, and also some German companies can also offer internship in Germany, which some of the students can also make use of it. So these are all my thoughts. So later I'll come back for any questions, Madhuri.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Let's move on to Dr. Siddharth. So how would you tell us, like, how would you define these key, important areas that are coming up for skilling and training? That is one important point, as Mr. Karthik also mentioned. And second, I think you can also add to the National Credit Framework, which Sudarshan sir just mentioned. I think that is the actual game changer in the whole of NEP, if you look at the policy document, because this is going to create not only pathways, it's going to have aspirational value. There are many other things, and this webinar definitely is not the context for me to go deeper, but I'm sure Dr. Siddharth can tell us more. So over to you, Dr. Siddharth.
Yes, no, thank you for bringing that up again. And if the national education policy established the intent, the NCRF or the credit framework is actually the tool which takes that intent forward and lays down a path for all those requirements which the skilling fraternity has been throwing up for many years. Multiple entry and multiple exit, horizontal mobility from skills to formal education and back to skills, inclusion of internships / skills / apprenticeships in the curriculum, uh, uh, laying down a way to award credits for any format of learning, experiential learning or learning at the workplace or learning through traditional ways and methods. Now there is a way to award credits, and also more importantly, establishing the process of banking those credits and redeeming those credits as you go along in the career. So that academic bank of credits is also a very important update. Yes, we are in the middle of implementing all these groundbreaking policies, and the system will stabilize in a few years. I think once the awareness is there, right, till the grassroots level, till the last institution, and we see some success models coming from this. Till that time, it will be a topic for discussion. Coming back to our question, first, from our point of view, the areas which we are seeing demand for skills from the youth or from the requirement point of view, one, of course, is the entire future skills area. So future skills, both in the short term format, meaning 3 to 6 month courses, and the long term format, meaning a traditional degree program like a bachelor's in computer application, but coming with AI as a specialization, or coming with cyber security as a specialization. So we are seeing, especially in this admission session for HEIs, there has been a sea change and a big jump in offering programs with these kind of specializations. And in the short term scenario also, across our funding partners from global foundations or CSR partners, or even the government programs we are participating in, increasingly the target allocation or the initiatives are now built around future skills areas. So future skills is an important area. Second, I would say the entire bucket of sustainability, which we are becoming more and more aware of, and we are increasingly taking, understanding the importance of it, and trying to get that into classrooms beyond just discussions, get that into classrooms and create programs around the entire sustainability area. It covers energy, it covers water, it covers waste management. And these programs, in fact, at our university, we are in the process of setting up a school of sustainability, and we are looking at some homegrown best practices and partners to support that school as well. So that is also an emerging area. Hospitality and tourism, both from our home state, Madhya Pradesh, and from the national priority, again, a very important area, employment generating sector, and also has good aspirational value amongst youth for taking up programs, and also an area where Indian students are traditionally doing well at the world skills level as well. So hospitality and tourism is an important area. One specific sub component within the overall IT area is the ABGC sector. A lot of demand and a lot of push from the central government, as well as many state governments coming up with their own ABGC policy. The animation, visual effects, gaming, and comics sector is going very strong and has very good aspirational value also amongst youth. So it ticks both boxes in terms of growth potential and aspiration from the youth. Another area is the entire financial services domain, especially products and services targeted at the rural country. And with the fintechs dominating the startup space within our country, financial services and financial services professionals, fintech professionals are also an important area. So these are the sectors where we see good demand from student, has good aspirational value. I am not going into high employment generation sectors, but a little lower on aspirational value like textiles, construction, and so on. But I have looked at these from the demand from students' point of view. Second, in terms of themes, some of the important themes which are right now dominating, being discussed, and the work is happening towards that. One is any programs targeted to increase the participation of women in workforce and women in STEM careers, women in STEM education. Again, at the center and at the state level, this is a big discussion topic. There are different budgets, there are different schemes. Anything to do with the women and their skills upgradation is an important topic. Second, with the rapid change in technology, upskilling and reskilling of the existing employees, especially in the MSME sector, which is the backbone of India's economy, is another area of concern. So all those people who are already employed in the small and medium scale manufacturing units, and their upskilling and reskilling at a manageable price point for the industry owners is also something which a lot of industry chambers are talking about today in different states. Third, as we've discussed, international mobility is now a national priority, and anything which can promote mobility. So we need from language training to data assimilation for international opportunities available is another thing, again at center and state level. And finally, the fourth theme is encouraging startups and entrepreneurship at the national level, because we are also aware that in India, we cannot have jobs for all the people who will come out of the education system. So entrepreneurship and startups is a big push, and any work happening around that area is also welcome at the center and the state level. So these four themes: women, upskilling, reskilling, international mobility, and entrepreneurship and startups thematically are very important. Just very quickly, some of the examples or what we are doing at our institution in terms of collaboration and attacking some of this is one, having some kind of nano credentials or nano masters program where professors from an institution from Germany teach our students online, and we give, let's say, 2 or 4 credits to those programs is one area which we have started experimenting from last year. Second is establishing centers of excellence. We have one center of excellence from Lucas Nule on the power engineering segment, but more COEs on these areas which I mentioned are required. Transfer programs, if they can come with a fully funded industry apprenticeship supported second year in Germany, are a good starting point. And internships, again, we have prepared some of our students for going into summer and the other internships, and more such internships can be looked at. We're also looking at finally one probably an overall academic partner from a skills university point of view, who becomes like the overall curriculum vetting partner and curriculum consulting partner for devising relevant curriculum and industry relevant curriculum for institutions. And I'm sure there are many other institutions who would like to have, apart from industry partners, an overall academic partner also to be the sounding board for curriculum design. And joint research projects from especially HEI's point of view, higher education point of view, is a big area. So any research project which can be done by co-PIs from India and Germany is a big area of collaboration. A lot of research scholars are looking for such international opportunities for taking up joint research projects. Madhuri.
Thank you, Dr. Siddharth. I think you have elaborated on many aspects of the scope for partnership, and also the the top areas where we expect a lot of skilling and work-based learning to happen in India. So with this, I would request Mr. Mohan to tell us from his point of view, what would be these areas for collaboration from the school and college, and also I would include entrepreneurship kind of initiatives, because infrastructure plays such an important role, as I already mentioned. So over to you, Mr. Mohan.
Yeah, thank you, Madhuri. Basically, as I mentioned earlier, we focus on the technical skills part of it. So, answering the first question of entrepreneurship, there could be a lot of areas which a student, once they learn the technical skills, for example, EV, which is a very important topic in India at the moment, with a lot of e-vehicles being sold by a lot of manufacturers. And there is also a lot of shortage of technicians to maintain those cars. So that is an area which could be sort of thought about to be established by institutions and train students on becoming EV technicians and EV engineers for especially, and then they could either get employed with all the service basis of the OEMs, or also begin on their own, depending upon whatever training they acquire. That is one area. Another area which is also very much prevalent in India today is on vertical mobility, which is the vertical transportation, escalator, elevator, and walkwater installation, commissioning, maintenance. And with the amount of metros and the malls and the way the vertical mobility is growing in the country, there's a huge dearth of engineers and technicians to maintain them. So this is another avenue of learning which could possibly happen, wherein again we would be able to support. And of course, then you also have the future skills of AI with Industry 4.0 or Industry 5.0 is what companies are talking about. So a lot of areas which people could learn on with these subjects as the focus. but again, not sort of forgetting the basic fundamentals. Like what we always tell when we try and establish a center in an institution is for the students need to begin from learning the fundamental levels to go into the advanced levels. And another area which is very important, as Dr. Siddharth also mentioned, is train the trainer. Unless the German way is like having a very good Meister, as what they call it as, in terms of the technical skills. The trainer has to be trained very adeptly in all these technologies to take it forward. So these are some of the areas which we feel could be of importance as far as the technical skills are concerned in the coming years or the days ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mohan, and also for bringing back the importance of, one of the top industry sectors like the EV sector, which is going to really transform the mobility industry, the automotive industry, and also create opportunities for mostly entrepreneurship as well, as you mentioned. So I think with this, we close this part of the discussion. So before we move ahead with questions from the participants, I would request Mr. Karthik to probably highlight some of the areas which we, just discussed.
Thank you, Madhuri, and thank you, panelists. Some of the areas I think still we can deliberate is about the e-learning modules and how effectively it is it's taken in India. And see, because the pandemic has paved the way for all the international agencies also to create a lot of e-learning modules. And as I mentioned earlier, we have more than 220 German institutions empaneled with iMOVE, and across sectors, all the 330 occupations across sectors. And we most of our partners in Germany, they are willing to offer their e-learning modules. And probably Dr. Siddharth and Sudarshanji, you can share how effectively we can take these e-learning modules and try to, because nowadays even the trainers are done through the e-learning modules, and the train the teachers. And this is one aspect I would like you both to give your views. And apart from you, we should also know, Madhuriji, we should open up to the participants. I think I'm seeing a lot of chats happening,
Yes.
and a lot of our participants are also experts, and they would like to also give their point of view. This is e-learning is one point, and the second point what I would like to open up is this: are there any training already provided for the specially abled people in our country? Because in Germany, I know that there are many organizations, they offer such a training, and I would like to know, or from the dignitaries, you can throw some light on such topics where we see some collaborations, because we touched about all the sustainability goals, and Dr. Chaturvedi has already mentioned what all things are possible, and including women in empowerment, entrepreneurship, and all these areas. So we can throw some light on specially abled people, the courses for them. And the third is that we would also like to know, because we talked about a lot of mobility, and when we are talking about Germany and India, Sudarshanji has already mentioned what could be the possible demand over the next decade. And many institutions in India are gearing up towards this. And one of the major aspect is the language. The German language training in India, teachers, how to get the teachers. What is your experience? Because I see at least two of our colleagues from TELC also look interested to know more about such topics here. What is your experience about the German language? How we can effectively multiply for the kind of demand we are having in India? Over to you, Sudarshanji.
Yeah, thank you. First, I'll go with the specially able people. I think Madhuri knows. So NTTF is doing a good work for last couple of decades and training differently able people. We have a specific program for them. It's a 2-year electronic mechanic course. This is basically orthopedically challenged and speech and hearing loss So these kind of people coming from the poor background. So it is a completely free of cost for them. So earlier NTTF was doing it. Now the big corporates like Cognizant started to fund this program out of their CSR. And initially, the placement was a challenge for these kind of people. But today, because of the all major companies have a diversity and inclusion goal, so they are handpicked, and before they complete the course, they are all placed. So in last year itself, we placed 50 plus candidates in very good companies like Volvo or TVS. So they are making a good livelihood. So it is one of the things we are passionate about it, and we continue to do. And we want to expand as well. If anybody wants to cooperate with us, more than welcome to do that. And second thing you asked, the German language course, it is a challenge. I myself have learned German long ago, but German is a tough language. So people say that online learning, we can start up. We tried with our students with online initially 100 students joined, and over the weeks progresses only 20 remains. So the interest goes off. So right now, we are training 70 plus students who will go to Germany from September 1st next year. So they are right now every day, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. It is the course. The instructor comes here, and a batch of 20 students, we are teaching them. That is the best way to do it. But the challenge is to find the right German trainer. It's a challenge. So it is very difficult to find. Goethe Institute is overbooked, and we need to find other people. So it is a very big challenge for the German training. So we need to find the best method, maybe hybrid model, online or blended model. We should come out with that and see how effective it is. So this is what we are doing today. And coming to the e-learning, what you said, see, we are talking about vocational skills. It is 70% hands-on and 30% theory. It's a big challenge to use completely e-learning in specific to the vocational skills and technical skills. However, there are a lot of tools available today, like simulation and other models we can use. So in the pandemic, we started and we continue to use that model still. We have an effective learning management system, but not all of them. Maybe we could cover about 20% of, maximum 20% of our syllabus through the e-learning, but rest has to be on the hands-on model, especially for the vocational skills. That is what our experience so far. But we are trying to improve day by day. We are trying to add some of the AR and VR technology so that they can learn anywhere and get some kind of an experience, so that we are using the technology maximum to our advantage. So that has to go up, in my opinion.
Thank you.
One more thing I want to tell Madhuri before I forget. So for the counterparts in Germany, there is a Erasmus Plus funding available. You all know that. So many institutes have used this fund for their staff coming, faculty coming over here, student coming over here. So you can make use of this. You can come. Unfortunately, Indian people cannot use it, but you can use it from Germany.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So, Dr. Siddharth, we have just
Yes.
about maybe 3 minutes, and then we will open it
Right,
for.
I'll keep it short.
Yeah.
So in terms of specially abled people, we have done work and we see good, uptake in IT and ITES areas, especially BPO segment. Where we have trained a few batches, and hospitality again is seeing, especially hotels are seeing a good uptake under the DEI for specially abled kids. So I think learning programs, apart from hardcore vocational training, in ITES and hospitality can be, scaled up, and there is a good demand, and employability prospects are also better. Coming to online learning, since our scope is a little more broad as compared to just vocational training, one, we have set up a studio within our university campus for getting all the content edited, rehashed, recorded, streamed, and so on. And I see many progressive institutions are doing, or probably will do the same, because studio is probably going to be an important aspect, as important as a lab, in HEI. So we find good use of that. Second, AR/VR Center of Excellence, which is a cutting across COE and takes engineering and other kind of content and is used as an aid for teaching is another thing which we're finding useful. Of course, in India, in general, pure play edtech we have now seen is not successful. All the major edtech players are also coming back to blended model. Everybody needs a physical, facilitation. So that is how it's going to be. However, for HEIs or for institutions, there is a way in which we can mainstream it by creditizing some of the component, which again NEP talks about and the government also talks about. So a few credits earned from edtech portals and coming back into the curriculum is the way to go for including the credits, and it can be also done for long format vocational training programs. In short term training programs, only the generic skills of employability, entrepreneurship, and digital literacy can be done through online. But apart from that, the domain will dictate how much component can go online. And finally, language, yes, it's the same challenge. We tried to solve it by establishing a school of foreign languages, and starting with these two languages where we have the demand. One is Japanese and second is German. With limited success, we also tried the online model, but high dropout rate. Probably we are looking at utilizing our infrastructure across the country to have now decentralize the language training aspect and give options to learners to probably join a program not within our premises but elsewhere, wherever we find a good trainer. But nothing, it is not stabilized yet. We yet to see how it will flow.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Siddharth. Mr. Mohan, is there something you would wish to add before we open up for the questions?
Yeah, a quick one with regards to the language training. What we have seen out of our experience with respect to people going to Germany is like, one is, of course, knowing the language becomes important, but the other part is also the culture training, in terms of mixing with the culture, what the German people do and all that, because here in India, our behavioral patterns and our culture is way different to what they have. Like, for example, being on time for a meeting or whatever it could be. Like, there are various examples which I can cite here. But then, like, that's something which we also have to focus on whenever we try to train students. And since we are talking about having international mobility of students going across, that's something very important, which institutions have to focus on here, especially in India. And of course, the e-learning part, yes, that's also a lot of companies or institutions are now going into the hybrid mode, both with respect to learning the basic subjects onto the e-learning and then getting onto higher end subjects onto the practical mode. So that's also happening. So that's what we are seeing in terms of our modules getting used in that way. So this was what I wanted to have as my submission, more so for the language and culture part.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Mohan.
you. Thank you.
You for re-emphasizing the language and culture sensitivity and also the scope for technology. So now let us have questions from the audience. We are open for questions, and I can also see some comments, but if you have any questions, you can please unmute yourself and ask the panelists and Mr. Karthik as well. Let's get started.
Thank you. This is Neeta here. May I come in?
Yeah. Yes, Neeta.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So I think the discussions have been absolutely insightful and focused. So that's very kind of you, because this is something we don't get otherwise. Just one question, maybe Mr. Sudarshan, since you touched upon this and you're, I know, involved in this heavily. All of us know there's a requirement for training of trainers. That's where really it all starts. But I just want to know, I know I wouldn't say missed the bus, but we are really delayed on this. So where should we start? Should we start with ITI graduates, preparing them, to also become trainers? Because I think we are really delaying the process and starting too late. when a program is already designed, we think of starting the training of trainer program, and I'm sure German friends are wondering how we do it. We don't do it well. I'm sure you already know that, but where do we start? I think, that's really a question that sometimes bothers me. So since I have this opportunity, thank you.
You're muted, Sudarshanji.
Thank you, Nita. So I agree, TOT is a challenge, and we have been trying to do our best. But in India, the skill is not a problem. The respect for the skill is a big problem. So that is, we need to eradicate together. I think it is coming to slowly the terms, and the remuneration and the respect for the trainers also has to go up in the society. Then everybody will be interested to take up this as a serious profession. So what best I can suggest is what we do at NTTF. So we take the fresh engineering graduates and train them over 18 months of period, providing them a good stipend so that they are interested to learn. So, and then we also award a certificate for their learning. So it's a kind of an education with the stipend so that they become the trainer after a period of training from us. So I think that is the best way to involve trainers and develop them. Of course, the ITIs have a challenge, and you and me have discussed much. It is the problem that nobody wants to spare the already employed trainers. They need to get upgraded to the next level. So they have been trained for maybe 25 years ago, but all the technology have been changed. So there is not enough capacity available to release them for the training and to continue the ongoing training. This is the continuous challenge we are facing when we approach, even if it is free of cost. So the availability of the trainer for the upskilling is also a challenge. So which we need to address it in a different forum too, as a whole of India. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, the participants from Germany, would you have any questions? Would you like to know more from our panelists? If yes, kindly let us know. You can speak or even share in the comments. And there are few observations and some information which is left in the comments. I think a couple of them had to leave early. So please take a look at that. I would request everybody to look at the comments as well. There's some good information. So are there any questions?
May I ask, ma'am?
Yes, yes.
I am Praveer from Ganpati University.
Yeah.
It is located in Mehsana, Gujarat. Actually, I have two questions. One question is from Siddharth sir. Sir, you mentioned about this nano credentials. So how did you map this nano credentials with the NCRF?
Yes. The nano credentials which came from one of the partners from Germany were standalone course modules around innovation and in fact there were two streams. One was around business and innovation and design thinking, and second one were a little more domain specific related to AI and robotics and automation. So it was left to us to see if we can embed them either in the BTech program or in the regular, a BCA or a BSc IT program. So and it takes 3-4 rounds of back and forth discussion with the experts there, with the academic council of the university here, and finally now we know that under the NEP we have X number of credits available every semester, which we can grant for either the ability enhancement or the skill enhancement stream. So we mapped these programs into those, and ideally under the NEP 4 credits can go for these the ability enhancement or the skill enhancement streams. So for these 3 courses, BCA and a BTech program and a BBA program, we started experimenting with embedding these programs, and it was finally done by the academic council of the university in association with the the German counterparts, the professors who were going to teach those programs.
Thank you, sir. I find it very innovative. That's why I wanted to know a little more about it. And one general question, like once we look into the Indian scenario, most of the parents are in a thought process that my what should go for 3 years or 4 years, 5 years, whatever the course pattern is already described. But once we are coming to the skill development, as Sudarshan sir said, even like the tenure of courses are maybe from 1 month to 6 months or 7 months. The parents are not accepting such type of courses, as well said by Darshan sir, that respect is required. So how we should proceed? Like we are a well-established university, but from well-established university awarding degrees or teaching students in a more like what we had been doing, and again shifting it from the academic part to skill development part. So it is very difficult to make this big shift because of the acceptance or non-acceptance of the parents or the students. So what you suggest that how we should proceed to mitigate these changes or to go for these changes so that people should accept it?
So from my side, I think I can just say that that's precisely what we are trying to solve and and the NEP and the curriculum framework now has solved it to a large extent. And as I could imagine from a university standpoint, taking one of these skilling domains which we spoke about, which are aspirational in nature, and creating a degree program out of that with an internship or an apprenticeship thrown in is a good starting point. And on top of that, if through a German or any other collaboration, if it can be converted into a transfer program, meaning 1 year here and 2 years there, or a 2+1, or in masters it can be a 1+1, then it becomes very aspirational in terms of the salary package, and the it's going to be much higher than what students will get here. So it is our job to I would say package the program in such a manner so that in terms of the curriculum also it looks aspirational. In terms of outcome also it looks aspirational.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I
Thank you
think
so much,
we
sir.
still have only 3 more minutes.
Yeah.
So I would like to have one small announcement to all of you. We are going to have another interesting round of discussions on 1st October, and we are going to have more experts joining us. And we would request everybody to please attend again and learn and see the opportunities. And in the comment section, I have seen a lot of interesting comments and a lot of interesting information. I request everybody to please go through it before we conclude this session. And looking forward for the 1st October session. In the meantime, I think there are so many things to be shared, not today on NEP context. We would like to look at only the NEP aspects today, but we have in the limited time tried to address so many issues. And I think if more people would like to ask questions, you can please send the questions to us, and we would talk to the moderators and panelists and try to answer your questions. We still have 2 minutes. Are there any questions from the participants? Yeah.
I am Ramchandra Shukla from Pune. I have very short one question to Mr. Sudarshan.
Yes, sir, please.
He mentioned that there are some roles available for working apprentice in Germany. So I want to know which are the roles, which are the sectors where these roles are available for apprenticeship candidates.
Yeah, there are many sectors available. So I was only limited to what our NTTF can scope. So I mentioned it. It is in the manufacturing technician level. It could be a auto mechanic, it could be a machinist, it could be a welding, electrician. mechatronic engineers and basic electronic engineers. So these are the main roles from the technical domain perspective. But there are, if you go through the AHK website or IHK website, there are multiple sectorial demands are put in. So various opportunities are existing. So I only mentioned very small portion of it because NTTF plays a role.
Fine, sir. Thank you. Fine, sir. Thank you very much. These are for 1 year or more than 1 year?
No, it is a 3-year apprenticeship course where it is funded by the government and the industry. So the students will get an every month stipend of about 1,000 euros per month also.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Much.
And Madhuriji, over to you.
One short question from my side. Do you have an email address where we can share some information to you?
Yes, please. I think Madhuriji, your colleagues can
I
share
will,
the email ID.
I'm just writing one email ID here.
Yes, please, because I'm thinking it is better to share some information to you, and then it's better for you to decide what is really important for you.
So
this is maybe the better way, because now we know what you do, but it is would be taking too long time to explain you what we are doing.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I've just shared this email ID here, contact@nationalskillsnetwork.com.
Okay.
Please write to us. And also another request is, since we have the session, on 1st October, whoever has more questions, or if you're curious about a few things that you couldn't ask right now, perhaps this was the first time you heard few things and these were probably new to you, we'll be very happy to get those points. We will include them in the discussion with the panelists in that session. And the panelists who have been here today, they are always available with us. So we can always get back to them and get their answers and their insights. So the objective of this webinar was to open up a channel of discussion between India and Germany and build new bridges. Of course, there are many bridges, but we want to strengthen them, I would say. So please help us in doing that by sharing your insights and your questions. Thank you all for attending today. Thanks a lot. And thank you all the panelists for being with us and sharing your expertise. And thank you, Mr. Karthik, for giving NSN this opportunity. Thank you so much. We look forward to having you in the next session on 1st October at the same time. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you
so much.
Thank you.
Panelists.
Thank you, Madhuri. Thank you,
participants.
Karthik.
See you
Thank
next
you.
week. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.
Thank you, sir.